So this is Cat Lady Justin, and welcome to our very first episode of the Kitty Boss podcast. Now, the graphic on your screen, if you're watching, says Catching Up with Dr. Rachel Geller, because I wanted this to be very special. I will do a weekly podcast on Catterday talking about a relevant thing to do with cats. However, once a month, we'll catch up with our good friend, the world's greatest cat behaviorist and chaplain, Dr. Rachel Geller. So if you can't see the graphic, you might want to go check it out on Facebook or on YouTube if you're just listening, just because a lot of people say it's really cute and I'm really proud of it. So I'll take the graphic down now so we can see each other. And Dr. Geller, Rachel, it's so good to catch up with you once again for our little monthly coffee clatch.
I love being a guest on your show, Justin, and it's always full of surprises and always full of fun. So, hey, let's get started.
You are the very first guest because, as you know, this is the debut episode of our thing. So I'm excited because it couldn't get better to start than with you. So that's the plan, is to do that. And we will field questions, which we'll get from people either live. So I'm monitoring the stream, but since I didn't announce it, I don't think anyone's coming today. But what we'll also do is I'll post places, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook group, the Kitty Boss Facebook group, which hopefully everybody joins because it's awesome. And we'll just field questions that way. So for today, because I didn't get any questions, I don't think.
We had one. I think we had one.
We had one. Actually, we had an interesting one.
Yeah.
Which was, somebody was asking, well, it's not a behavior related question, which is okay, because we can answer questions that are beyond behavior, because I also have a lot of expertise in things to do with health and with other things. So disclaimer though, I'm not a veterinarian, even though I have consulted with many veterinarians in 3 different countries. So but myself, I'm not a practicing vet, although I don't know how much trouble you can get into. Is that considered dispensing medical advice if it's for your animal? I don't know. But just to be safe, I'm not a vet. So that's the story. But the question we had was interesting, because it was more, some people would be tempted to say Google is your friend. On the other hand, she was asking about a cat shelter that specializes in blind cats, a cat rescue that specializes in cats who are blind. And I thought that was really interesting because it's very specific and very unique. So there are quite a few rescues and shelters that specialize in special needs cats, cats with disabilities, or elderly cats, or cats that are abandoned, various cats that have special needs. But specifically for cats who are blind, the only one that I'm aware of is the Blind Cat Rescue that I shared with her, which is actually in North Carolina. And, their website, I think, is blindcatrescue.org or .com. I don't remember, but we are not affiliated with them. But of course, being a rescue, I honestly support them with all my heart, because it's a wonderful thing they're doing. Because just because the cat's blind, what are you going to do? Eat it?
Yeah.
So it's really important that we help our feline friends.
It is. And I did give her a couple of suggestions for special needs cats shelters in the area she was specifying. But you're right, it's not a very common thing to have a shelter dedicated to just blind cats. But I think, didn't somebody also write in about being woken up at 4 a.m.?
Also not a cat specific question, because she was
asking, the cat, I thought.
She was asking, as a cat, she was asking, I'm a cat, and I'm asking, my cat wants to know why my human, I don't know why they think cats speak like Ferengi from Star Trek, because that's what Ferengi say, human, cats probably can say the "you" sound because they go meow. So my human, they could probably say it, you know. So she was asking why her human doesn't immediately wake up at 4 in the morning when she gets swatted in the face.
Right,
To go
right.
feed her, and why she just rolls around and moans. So
Yeah, she was
that's
asking from the cat's perspective, but
yeah,
if you want, I can talk a little bit about that. 'Cause I
yeah,
think there are a lot of people who do get, I call it the feline alarm clock. There are those people who get woken up before they want to get up because the cat wants to eat or the cat wants to play. Um, and there is kind of actually a simple solution for this. It's pretty common, but we want to sort of approach it two ways. So first, we want to make sure we work on ways to reset our cat's internal clock because cats sleep cycles are shorter than ours are. So they are going to want to tend to wake up earlier than we do, but we can sort of reset that clock and we can also give your cat something to do should she wake up before you. So the best way to reset your cat's internal clock is to do a really robust play session right before you go to bed. And I don't mean like an hour before you go to bed. I mean like the last thing you do before you shut your eyes and go into bed. So again, when I say play session, I mean use a fishing pole type toy, simulate a hunt, move that toy as if it were prey, really get that cat into hunting. And during the play session, really mimic prey. So sometimes you're up high, sometimes you're down low, you might slither around things and so forth. After about 10 or 15 minutes, you really want to make this a good long session. What I want this person to do is now wind the game down. So think like the prey is getting tired, the prey is getting injured, the prey dies, and let that cat have one last final super duper juicy capture. And immediately following the capture, I want her to provide her cat with food. So now we have simulated a hunt. Cats do expect a catch and kill and be able to eat what they killed. And on top of that, when a cat hunts and then eats their kill, they are put into their natural hunt, eat, sleep cycle. So by doing that right before we go to bed, we're getting your cat to tap into that sleep cycle, and that's going to help your cat sleep longer throughout the night. In addition, though, should your cat wake up earlier, we want to provide your cat with something to do. So the best thing to do is after your play session, robust play session, final capture food, you're going to go right before you jump into bed, put out some puzzle feeders for your cat. So if she wakes up before you, she can hunt and play and eat on her own and get that hunt simulation. And the other thing you can do is put out a little things that aren't really food, but trick your cat into thinking that she's eating. Like one of my favorite tricks for this is something called bonito flakes. It's dried fish, plain dried fish, nothing else. You add a little water to it. It really gives off a fishy scent and it tricks cats into thinking they're getting a little bit of food when they're really not. But bonito flakes are extremely low in calories, but very high in nutrition. So it's a good little extra thing to give to your cat before you wake up. But if you do those two things in conjunction with each other, you'll definitely get a better night's sleep.
that's really cool. That's really interesting. I am lucky, I guess. I don't have to worry about that. My Emily and my Charlotte tend to come to bed with me. Charlotte tends to come to bed a little bit later. Like she'll join us afterwards, whereas Emily is just, she tucks me in, and they tend to spend the majority of the night with me. And maybe they go up and around when I'm asleep, but I generally have to wake up to tinkle a couple times, 2, 3 times a night. And most of the time they're there and I'm very pleased. And then I wake up in the morning and they're there and they don't wake me up. They don't start nudging until it gets late. So if I sleep in until like 8, 9 o'clock, or God forbid 10 o'clock, that's when Charlotte normally is cool with it. She's chill, but Emily starts getting hangry, like a person, and she's just like, she starts really nudging at that. So that's, but maybe I'm lucky like that. But you brought up puzzle feeders, and that's interesting because I just bought one and I haven't used it yet because Emily's recovering from her dental things. I don't want to, no crunchy treats for her yet. But my mom got a puzzle feeder for her cat, Ondine. And Ondine figured it out almost immediately.
Mm.
And it's worthless because Ondine can just get into the puzzle feeder and empty it in minutes. And so there are some cats that might be really clever and puzzle feeders don't work, or does she just need to maybe try to find another more complicated puzzle feeder?
Yeah, I would say yes. To answer your question, the second option. So they come in many different forms, many different types, and some cats enjoy a challenge more than others, and some cats are, better at it, than others. Just like people, right? We're all different with solving puzzles. So yeah, there are so many options and types of puzzle feeders that I would suggest to her to just get a more complicated one. There are some where you really have to manipulate several things and accomplish some task for the food to come out. There's somewhere you have to slide a door or open a drawer. So something like that might be better for your mom's cat if that cat's particularly adept at, solving puzzles. So, and some cats don't like to stick with it, and really the first time get it too. So some cats, it takes them a little longer, but I would definitely suggest rather than giving up on the idea, trying a different type. I mean, they come in so many varieties with so many different types of puzzles to figure out. And some even have like 2 actions to 1 toy. So it would be worth giving it another try because it is a terrific thing for cats. And I'm sure until that cat figured it out and got bored with it, in that in between part, the cat was probably loving it. So we do want to provide that stimulation, for our cats. We don't want them to be bored. A busy cat is a happy cat. So we want our cats to be doing these kinds of things.
That's really interesting because, so my mom talked about the puzzle feeder and all that. And I haven't, like I said, tried it yet, but I have a feeling that Emily will figure it out and get into it and it'll be pretty normal. I think Charlotte might be more like my mom's cat because I with the treats that I keep, I have to put them in plastic like takeaway containers because otherwise Charlotte can get into almost anything. But she figured out how to get into those takeaway containers also. Like I have no way other than locking it in the safe or in a cupboard, of keeping Charlotte out. She can like open a plastic container. She figured out, I don't know how exactly, because all of a sudden I'm hearing these noises and I wake up because it was in bed, and I find her in the container, like having gotten in it. And I'm like, how'd you do that?
So
So
the good news is you have a cat who can be entertained by those types of toys, which is terrific. You just don't want her in your own food.
well, I don't want her eating the entire, tub of treats in one session. You
No,
know,
that wouldn't be good.
that would be like that because my cats do tend to be greedy. Like the vet says, they're not obese. There's nothing to worry about. But he just said, just watch overfeeding them because they are, about 10% too chunky, which
Yeah.
is really cute on a cat. It's really cute on them, but they are greedy. Uh, and it's another interesting question because my mom's cat does this too. Like they get fed, plenty. Obviously, they're not thin, but they try to like con me into giving them like 2 dinners or a little brunch after breakfast. Is that and my mom's cat does the same thing. So is that something you've heard or is that normal or are my cats like weird?
No, I'm actually really glad you asked that question because this is something I get all the time. So that's a terrific question. Probably people watching this are going to say, oh my goodness, my cat does that too. So there are definitely cats who are social eaters. And because we tend to do the feeding, and when we feed them, we tend to be with them, and maybe we're giving them affection. We're using our voice in a loving tone, come on and get your food, right? We're doing all the things that cats love. So we definitely, as humans, and this is okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just why that happens. We've created all these lovely positive associations with us and the feeding and the food. So some of it is just that may not necessarily be the food itself, but the whole, thing around serving them the food, the attention, the closeness, the love, the talk, the petting. So, we've created those cats have learned that, gee, now that I think about it, whenever I get fed, I also get all this extra love and attention, and my human's sitting right next to me, and he's taking the time to be with me. And this is a lovely thing. So I'm going to keep on asking for food. So they're probably not hungry. As you said, they've already eaten, but they want the attention. They want the social experience. Think of those of us who, we might be invited to some type of party, or, and we're really not hungry, but we eat because everybody's there and they're eating. It would be something similar to that. It's just a nice, pleasurable experience. So, you can try to give them a little bit, just to sort of have that closeness that you might enjoy with your cat. Yeah, just a tidbit is fine. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's interesting because people can be social eaters too, or social
Yes,
drinkers, or social smokers, or social whatever.
exactly. I
So I
mean,
guess
right.
cats can too.
It's exactly the perfect metaphor. So say somebody invites you to go out and have a cup of coffee or something. Well, you may not be thirsty, but you'll have that coffee because you want to be social and be with that person whose company you enjoy. So if you think about it that way, the cat's not really trying to be deliberately misbehaving or trying to trick you into anything. She wants your company and she wants to socially eat with you.
Yeah, which makes sense. And they
Yeah.
both do. And they just, yeah, they both do. And it's true. I do give them little pets and little affection, and, when they're eating, and I do kind of find it cute the way they make the noise, it's just really cute, the way they do it.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
so
so there's
yeah,
all kinds of goodness going around with that besides just the eating part.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. And they make me laugh because in the morning they, like, if I get distracted, like if I have like a moment of ADD or something, and I've started to prepare the food, but then I get distracted with something else. They're very good, both of them, at reminding me to focus. Like they'll leap up on the counter, or they'll start meowing at me or whatever. They're like, "Hey, don't lose focus,"
See that? So they're life coaches too.
They're totally life coaches. They're like they're kitty coaches. It's just,
Yes.
they're meow mentors, which is what I like to call all of us. We are meow mentors, but so are they. At least mine are.
Yeah,
So
no, I hear you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you had a funny, not funny, but a very interesting, because you obviously do other podcasts as well. And so you had a very interesting point that you made on another one recently, and I saw it. And I trying to remember and put my finger on what it was. Do you remember what the newest thing you put out there?
Oh, the one for Inspire Unity. I bet you're
Yeah,
talking. Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah.
Inspire Unity. Yeah.
So because you brought up a point there, and do you remember what you brought up with him?
I don't.
You know,
I
oh,
mean, it was like a 20-minute thing. Do you remember what the topic was?
not off the top of my head. I just
No,
remember
okay.
thinking, "Oh, that's interesting. I'll ask her about that." But oh well. We talked
Yeah.
about the important things today, which of course have to do with food, with play, and it's interesting because on a podcast that I don't do regularly anymore. My other podcast, Just in Answer, I interviewed Dr. Michael Bruce, who's a sleep doctor. He's the world's foremost sleep doctor. He advises presidents and celebrities, and he's like blue chip,
Wow.
star. But so sleep it's a big deal, right? It's a
Yes.
huge issue for a lot of people. And he gave so many amazing tips, so many amazing pointers on like how to choose a pillow and this and that. So I'm not sending people to go watch my other podcast, although they can if they want to. Not a problem. It's all good. But one of the things is all of those clever, wonderful solutions for sleep. Well, if you've got a little meowing or whatever waking you up, or patting you on the, and that's that's going to be I don't think he can resolve that. He can't
It's
help with
going to
that.
be disruptive. Yes.
I think he's a dog person. I don't think he'll probably say just keep them out of the bedroom. But as most of us know, it's not always an option to keep our babies out of the bedroom. For one thing, I don't sleep well without my cat. So, I grew up as a kid with security blankets. I still have them. I was born with it's the blankets like, I'm not going to say how many decades old. But anyway, I now have security cats. I need them to sleep. If I go visit my mom or something in Paris, you know, if I'm away too long, I start getting like upset. Like I need my cats. It might be better now that she has a cat, but I don't know. But it's just I just start thinking about them, and I'm like, I love my mom, but I just want to get home to my cats. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm really a crazy cat man. But
No,
it's
I think a lot of people are like that, right? We want to snuggle with our cats, and it's a time to enjoy closeness and be relaxed. It's just a nice time for a lot of cat owners.
It is, yeah, it,
Yeah.
it totally is. And so it's really great to be able to enjoy that sleep with them as well, because I just find that very soothing. And just as a final note, because we're at our half hour, and I don't think we should record ginormous 2-hour episodes, but because I could talk to you all night. But it's just I find that my cats will tuck me in, and what I mean by that is, if when I'm in bed, Emily will then come to bed, or she'll call me and say it's time for bed, and we go to bed, and then she'll come and she'll purr, she'll spoon or snuggle somehow, and I'll pet her, and then when she realizes I'm fading or I've faded, I notice she goes back to her little nest, and not on which is on the bed as well. I have a very big bed, and she'll go to sleep. But she's really like tucking me in. She's waiting
Yeah.
for me to fade and sleep, and then she goes and sleeps. And Charlotte will do a very similar thing. One of them will they kind of alternate, or I don't know how they pick, but Charlotte will sometimes come and she'll plop herself there, and I'll pet her. She'll start purring, and then when I start fading, that's when she goes and goes and her sleeps. So she waits for me to sleep first, and then she goes to sleep. I think that's really cute. I don't know if I'm ascribing human things to it, but it just seems like they're tucking me in.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like they wait. They understand when we're sleeping, when we're awake, so that makes perfect sense. And I think that a lot of cats want to make sure that we're safe and we're comfortable, and they like to know where we are and where we're going to be. So it makes total sense. I don't think you're reading too much into it. I'm sure that they know what they're doing, and they very much love you, and they want to make sure you're okay and you're safe. They know where you are, and then they can go off and sleep.
That's really cool. I thought so. I thought so. So it's 7:31 here, so it's dinner time for me. For you, it's probably you know close to what I don't know what time it is over there on the
It's
East
cat
Coast.
it's cat time over here.
Cat time, yeah. Well, mine are, and so well, it's always cat time here, but so I will say thank you very much, and this has been really cool as always, and I really look forward to next month, which will
Yes.
be the second Friday we record, and the second Saturday Catterday, which I'll put it up on the thing. In the meantime, I'd like to remind everyone that the Kitty Boss podcast is a weekly thing. So next week, next Catterday, if you would care to tune in, you will hear me speaking for a little bit less, because there's no need for 30 minutes of me. That's great with catching up with Dr. Geller, but for 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, I will speak about a very relevant topic having to do with cats, whether it's brushing their teeth, brushing their fur, the furminator, medicine, vet visit. We'll talk about everything, a little bit of everything, depending on what sort of is top of mind that day. So the Kitty Boss is every Saturday. We drop a podcast. There's no specific time because it's not, television. It's not live. But every Saturday you should look for a new episode, and we will surprise you with a catch up with Dr. Rachel Geller once a month. which is be also very cool. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you real soon.